Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Mario and today we are going to get the 3 air fryer ovens, the Ninja, the Cuisinart, and the GoWISE, and we're going to cook hand pressed burgers. So stick around. So what I got here is 5.5 pounds of ground beef. This is 8812. It's more lean than I would like. Usually I would like to get at least 85-15 or even 80-20, but BJ's and in general the meat is hard to come by exactly what you want. I also have this cheap burger press, and I usually make 6-ounce burgers, and when I do that I don't use the top because it's too much meat for that. So this is great if you're doing maybe a 4-ounce burger. And to make cleanup easier, I get these cheap sandwich bags, you know, non-Ziploc, or if that's all you got is Ziploc. I just slide it in, flip this over, and I'll pop it in and hand press it down. So we'll do that. And this 5.5 pounds will probably make like 15-16 burgers depending, but I like to get it down to perfect 6 ounces, which I have these little parchment squares. These are only like 4-inch squares. They're a little on the small side for this, but it's fine. I have cleaned down the stove, and you know, if I could find 5.5-inch squares as cheap as I could find these, I would do it. So I'll lay a bunch of these down. So I got my scale on. I'm gonna pull out a bunch until I get about 6 ounces, or exactly 6 ounces as I like. Sometimes I get it on the first try, sometimes I don't. Alright, 6 ounces. Just gonna roll this up in a little ball, and I'm gonna place it on one of those parchment rounds, or parchment squares I should say. So I made 15. Don't need that one. So this one ended up being 4 ounces. Usually I can get 5 3/4 to 6 pounds of ground beef, but this time it was 5.5. That's why I'm a little short, but that's okay. So I already know this is 6 ounces, so I'm gonna press this really well. And you kind of need to press it well, or well enough, because if you don't, these end up ballooning in the middle when I throw them on the grill. One down. See, it has those nice groove marks on there, and I'll start to stack them up. Gonna do the 4-ounce one, and that is 3 to a stack, and usually I have 2 and my wife has 1, so now we go from there and create all stacks of 3. Some people even put a thumbprint in the middle, and that helps it from bubbling up on the grill, but I don't bother. Or okay, so we got our 5 stacks of 3. Back in the day I was making these 4 ounces, and I found that 2 4-ounce patties for me, especially without the bread, was not enough. So I shot up to 8 ounces, and that was just too big of a patty to cook with this size press, which is like a 4-inch press. If I had a 6-inch press, then it'd be a different story. So I found 6 ounces is a good balance between all of that. Now we wrap them. See, an easy cleanup. I can still throw this in the dishwasher, but the meat doesn't stick to the press. So for me, I get my plastic wrap. Just grab these by the corner. And I also pay close attention which burgers have less meat to it. Now I will wrap these twice, but I set them aside. I'll wrap them all once, then go back and wrap them again. I will leave out 1 or 2 sets to cook over the next couple days, and I freeze the rest and take them out a couple days in advance of cooking. These do not last long in this house. So you got 5 sets, so 5 meals. My daughter used to like hamburgers, then one day, as kids always are, she no longer did. And this one has the 4-ounce burgers. So I usually do something to remember that they're there. Sometimes I'll put the label that came on the burgers indicating the you know, the fat content on like the smaller one. That way I know them, plus I know the date and when I put it in there. I used to buy BJ's fresh pressed burgers, and they were actually good pressed burgers, but I found that it's a little cheaper to do it this way, and I can make them exactly the way I want. That's it. I'm going to throw a couple of these in the fridge and throw the rest in the freezer. So some of you may be saying, Mario, why would you ever air fry a burger, and you're right. However, sometimes it's unavoidable. Maybe you're out of propane, maybe you're out of charcoal, maybe there's 2 feet of snow on the ground. Maybe you live in a condo and the homeowners association won't let you, have a grill. So what do? You use an air fryer. That being said, I don't believe air fryer ovens are true air fryers. When I use a true air fryer and I cook a burger, I do about 370 degrees. When I use the air fryer ovens, I treat them more around 400. However, I don't consider the Ninja an air fryer oven at all, so I might even have to go a little higher than that. So with that being said, let's get cooking. So I'm actually gonna season these burgers a little bit, and I'm using that mixture, and if you watch my last video, you would know what's in it, but in any case, it's basically salt, pepper, garlic powder, ground cayenne red pepper, and smoked paprika. So we're gonna sprinkle a little bit on there. Okay, now as far as how I'm gonna cook these. With the Ninja, I am putting in the rack. With the GoWISE, I am also putting in the rack. However, with the Cuisinart, since there's no really easy way to clean the inside, I am doing it on a rack, but I'm also putting the catch pan underneath. Now we are going to preheat these, and normally I never preheat these ovens when I'm cooking something. However, since I'm trying to do a comparison as close as possible, which is somewhat of a lie because I need to cook higher temperatures on this, is I am going to preheat it. So we're going to power this up. Air fry, it's at 425. I am going to turn down the temperature to, let's say, 420. And as far as the time goes, I'm just going to put a high time because I'm going to let it preheat, and I don't know what it is, but this only takes a minute to preheat. So we are going to start this one. As you could see, it says pre, so it's preheating. The GoWISE, we are going to, I'm just going to go to the fries menu, and from there I'm just going to adjust the temperature because otherwise it's a pain. And we're going to just boost the time up to whatever. And we can hit start on the GoWISE, or in a minute it'll start itself, but I'll just start that up. And with the Cuisinart, so for the Cuisinart, I'm hitting the air fry button. It's defaulting to 400. I am going to change the time though. I'm going to change it really high just to get the preheat going. Hit the start button. So we got air fry and 400 degrees. The Ninja has already said the preheating is done. However, these are going to need some time to heat up because they don't have that fast heat up option, and that's probably because the Ninja has a quartz element and it can heat up pretty quickly. This one, I think last time I told it to preheat, it took maybe 4 or 5 minutes, and the GoWISE will give it that much time as well. Okay, our ovens are heated up, so let's get these in now. Okay, let's open up the Ninja. This is going to be hot, and I like the fact it has a positive stop on there. Put that burger on there. We should get some sizzle. I'll push that in. GoWISE. Open that up. It does not have a positive stop, so you need to be careful. And last but not least, we have the Cuisinart. We will pull out the draw here again. Again, positive stop, so that doesn't just pop out. You can hear that grill going. And again, I'm pointing out these really thin wires on that rack. So all the burgers are going now, so now we just need to wait it out. So while those are going, let's talk about another thing. I like my burgers more to the medium well side, and I know a lot of people get offended by meat being cooked like that. However, that's the way I like it. If I, get them all the same temperature, we can then judge better of how they did, how they cooked from the inside out, or the outside in this case, and at what temperature and time. So for curiosity's sake, after 5 minutes of cooking, I check the temperatures, and I haven't flipped them yet. It was just to check the temperatures. The Ninja was about 120 degrees inside the burger. The GoWISE was about 120 degrees. However, the Cuisinart was about 112 degrees. I don't know what the reason is behind that, but they are different ovens. They do heat differently. The Cuisinart is larger. It can lose, heat faster, things of that nature. So let's just wait another minute, and we're gonna flip them. Okay, we'll start with the Ninja first. It's kind of weird seeing a burger without grill marks like I'm used to it. This is going to make a mess. I'm going to have to clean that window later. Now for the GoWISE. The GoWISE burger is starting to bump up in the middle. It's getting what we call pregnant burgers. And now for the Cuisinart. And it's more bubbly than the other ones as well. And again, it doesn't look as appetizing as it would with the grill, simply because it doesn't have those, grill marks. So we are going to wait a little bit longer, and then we're going to test the temperature across the three. So I just did a quick temperature check. This is just at about 160. That's a little less than 160, and that's an even little more less. So I'm going to take out the burgers from left to right, and so I wouldn't forget, I put a little piece of blue Pintrest tape, so I always know the Ninja came out on that side, so I don't mix these up when I cut them open. Cuisinart, GoWISE, and the Ninja, and we're going to power these off. Let's take this to the stove. Okay, here we go. So I'm just going to check the temperatures pretty quickly here. They were pretty much where they needed to be, but they've been sitting for a minute, so I just want to check them. Okay, the Cuisinart burger has cooled down to 156 degrees roughly, almost 157. The GoWISE temperature in a matter of minutes got up really high, which means that at the very end this started to cook very quickly. So this is actually almost at 180 degrees, and this one, it's on the easier side to poke in some areas, and you can see some of the juices there. So the GoWISE burger is actually going to be a little bit dried out, I think. But again, 10 minutes across for all of these, and the Ninja is 155, 156. The Cuisinart and the Ninja are at the same internal temperature, cooked for the same amount of time, but I did have the Ninja up at 420 degrees. The GoWISE, however, which has the loudest fan, which simply means it's probably pushing more air, my guess, was actually probably close to 15-20 degrees hotter internally. And you could see the Ninja actually looks the juiciest here, even though I had the highest temperature, followed by the Cuisinart and then the GoWISE. So I'm going to pop these open now, and we pretty much know what the results are going to be with these as far as, the temperature I checked internally and the way they look. So first we're going to go into the Cuisinart, and there's a lot of juice coming out of there. And if I look at that, yes, it is basically medium well. However, there is tons of juice coming out of this. Unless you like rare burgers, then that's a different story. Now we'll go to the GoWISE. And that is basically well done. And the Ninja, which also seems moist, that is a medium burger. So even though the internal temperature of the Ninja was 156 degrees, I think it was, as was the Cuisinart is more cooked inside. I'm not quite sure how that works out, but most people, well, actually, different people like different burgers. I know someone who likes their burgers like hockey pucks. I know someone who likes them mooing. So they're pretty much the same. But I'm going to do a quick test as far as taste on these to see how they are. Usually I put mustard on them. I won't, because that might affect the way it is. The other thing is these had spices on them, so it's gonna possibly, especially with the garlic, can get burnt looking. That this is the way it could turn out as far as the outside. But let's taste it. Okay, so here we go. Here's another close-up. This one is the Cuisinart. Now this one is the one that was more like a medium well. It's definitely dry, even though the inside had plenty of juices coming out of it. Now, I did say I would cook them less to a medium so we could see, but it just goes to show 10 minutes to cook these burgers was too much. When I grill outside, I preheat I preheat the grill 10-15 minutes and then I cook. With these I did about 4 minutes, and I normally don't preheat, and that's probably what screwed me up. This is the GoWISE, and I know it's going to be like, well done. No question. Now, excuse me, hiccups. The Ninja, which is more of a medium. Sorry, needed that. Okay, so this is probably a poor test, and I'm going to tell you why. If I had cooked the GoWISE and the Cuisinart burger 2 minutes less, I think they would have been better. The Ninja by far was the juiciest. The Cuisinart did still have some juice in it, and that was proof by it going all over the place, followed by the GoWISE, which was just, again, overcooked. And I normally don't cook them this much, but I think what did me in was the preheating, because normally I don't preheat, and that's what happens. So anyway, take away what you will from this. They do cook the burgers. I think on the grill it is better. That's just an opinion. However, as mentioned earlier in the video, some people do not have a choice. Whether, again, the snow, out of propane, out of charcoal, homeowners association says you can't have a grill, things of that nature. So the takeaway from this is, don't overcook it. You can preheat the oven or not. It doesn't matter. But for me, the 400 degree mark probably would have been fine on the Ninja as well as the 420 I did. Just cook it, you know, accordingly. But the GoWISE dried out very quickly, but it had the most air rushing out of that fan, so that fan does cause things to dry out, and that's nothing new. We know that. That's why sometimes when you cook things in the air fryer, you'll cover them with foil until the end just to crisp it up. And the Cuisinart did what pretty much was expected to do. So there's no clear winner here. This is going to chalk it up to error from the chef here, me, because I, you know, could have cooked them less. Even though the internal temperature, when I checked it just before I pulled them out, said Cuisinart 156 or 160, and then the GoWISE was less than that, and the Ninja was less than that. But in that last minute or two, they just went berserk and cooked them up high. I should have did 145. I didn't, but this was more so you could see how it is. Is burgers on the air fryer for you? Maybe, maybe not. So I do plan on redoing part of this video at some point and sharing the results, but kind of the point was find the temperature that each one is ideal at, and in this case the Ninja was 430 and the GoWISE and the Cuisinart were 400, and see if we can get them to cook the same. That being said, the GoWISE probably could have went down and stayed at 370, because believe it or not, is, again, as much as I've criticized the GoWISE USA air fryer oven, it seems to have done pretty much as good as a job as the other ones. And at this point, if you bought all these ovens new, Cuisinart 200, the Ninja 180 plus, and the GoWISE about 120. The GoWISE has a plastic case so it stays cooler to the touch, and it's more compact. Another thing, a reader came to me, or a YouTube watcher came to me and says, hey, you know, you've complained about the toast and you criticized it, and thank you for that comment. The watcher said, I put the toast rack, or I put the rack on the very bottom of the GoWISE, cook it that way, and it comes out okay. Now, full disclosure, and I think I mentioned it, I don't eat bread. I think you know that now. So it's my wife who cooks the toast and the waffles and whatnot. So that is one thing, is if you put it down lower, that viewer said it cooks better. So thank you for that. I heard you, I listened, and I'm going to mention it to the wife so next time she cooks it, she could see if it works out better for her. Anyway, folks, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't like this video, tell me why you don't like this video, and I'll redo the video, because I've done that in the past. Please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell so you know when I put out a new video. Thanks a lot. I'll see you on the next one. I've got 3 air fryers to unplug, folks. Take care. Need some mustard. I also got some sugar-free barbecue sauce. And ketchup for that matter. Ninja Burger was the best one. Yeah, chalk that up to a problem with the chef.